So this assignment involves you doing a fourth grade art standard, which is 1 point perspective. We're going to have you do it on a computer. And so these directions were adapted from an art lesson and translated to Google Slides. So the drawing that we're going to try to make is this one right here. It could be as simple as this, or you can make it more complex. And we're going to start here on page 2. It's a very long amount of directions, about 14 pages, I believe. It could be shorter, I'm not sure. Let's get started. So the first thing it says to do is to get a new slide up. So we'll do that. They want you to call it 1 point perspective. And what you can do is take these arrays, copy it, and you can paste it right here. Write that name. Just so you know, if you paste whatever you put in the title, say it was this, 1 point perspective, and I don't know why the 1 comes in, the number 1. But if you do that and then click up here, it'll absorb that name, just so you know. Well, we don't need these text boxes. So there's a lot of steps involved, and we don't need the themes. We'll close that, get you more room. And let's see, if you have a machine that's big enough, you might want to try to split the screen. It would certainly make things a little bit easier, I suppose. And so get these side by side, and that might help a little bit. So step 2 says we need to see our guides, and that's under the View menu. And this is a toggle, so if you don't see a check mark here, you just select it, and that brings you your guides. If you ever wanted to remove them, one way to do that is just to uncheck that. Also, you need to see the ruler, and if you don't see that, those rulers, that's also under the View menu, and it's also a toggle. Just hit Show Ruler, and you'll see those. Step 3, click and drag on the horizontal guide to move it to the 1.5 inch mark. So this is the horizontal guide, horizon, horizontal. And it'll show you where you're moving it to, so you want 1.5. Next, you want to place a small black dot at the intersection of these two guides. This will be the vanishing point of your drawing. So you might want to zoom in a bit. You don't have to, but if it's helpful, you can. And you want to oval tool to make it perfect. Hold down the Shift key, and you want to draw something like this. To get it right on there, you can get till you see red lines on both, and then you're in business. That'll be nice and centered. I'm going to take the border off of that circle and just have a black fill. Zoom back out. I've got something that looks like this. Step 5. Add another horizontal guide by clicking on the side ruler and selecting Add Horizontal Guide. Move this guide to 5.5. That's almost at the bottom. There's more than one way to do that, but here's one way. Add Horizontal Guide. Just click anywhere in here. That will give you that guide, and you want to move this down to 5.50. Step 6. Add 2 more vertical guides. You do that by going up here to the top ruler. One at 2.5 and one at 7.5. And if you click by that, it will get you what you need. Sometimes it'll even go right where you want it to. Step 7, remove the middle vertical guide. That's this guy. Or excuse me, remove the middle vertical guide at 5. That's this guy right here. And to get rid of that, you just pull it off to the side and it goes away. Just take it off the canvas. They also want you to remove the horizontal guide at 1.5. So just get rid of that by throwing it up top. Step 9 on the next page, copy the dot at the vanishing point, paste it twice. Use the arrow keys to move the dots to the locations below. You want a dot here and a dot here. So just like in art class, you're going to put these dots on this canvas, but it won't be part of your finished product. You'll remove them, or they'll be covered up, one or the other. Well, it's right there. I'll copy paste it. So that's step 9. It looks like in step 10, you can now deselect your guides. You can get rid of them. So it says go to view guides, deselect show guides. Now you're going to start drawing some lines to these dots. Connect each dot at the bottom of the canvas to the vanishing point in the middle. This will be the lines of the railroad. So you'll notice when you do this, you'll get these purple dots, and you can ignore them for right now. You can't attach to them. We really want to go to the center. I found on a Macintosh, if I hold down the Command key, that'll go away. I have not found the keyboard equivalent to that on a Chromebook. All right, so I'm going to leave it on, and it may mess with my lines a bit, but that's okay. So you want to line to each the vanishing point to each one of these dots. Now, if that bothers you that they're kind of out of sync here, or kind of not exactly where you want them to be, you can zoom in, and you can actually see where these guys are. And you can move it to the center if you'd like that way. Same thing can be done down here. Again, it's not the end of the world if this isn't exactly where you want them to be. You can certainly be a lot less exact than you're seeing me do right now. Step 12, connect the left side of the canvas. On the left side of the canvas, place another dot. At the 4-inch mark, connect that dot to the vanishing point. So I'm going to be a little bit more sloppy with my work just because of time. So they want one with the 4-inch mark. These are the railroad tracks. This will be one of the barbed wire fence lines. 13, you're putting 2 more points at 7.5 and 9-inch mark way up here. So 7.5 and 9. Take an existing dot, which I do believe you still have in your clipboard. Put that at 7.5, copy paste it, and the other one's at 9. And these do not need to be exact. This is going to be your power lines of this drawing. So again, you connect those, that's step 13. So take a moment to check that your figure looks like step 13. Step 14, we want a dot now at 5 inches and draw a line to it. Ruler on the side. We want a horizontal line. This is the line of horizon, and that was where that previous guide was. We're going to do a line there instead now at 1.5. If you hold down the shift key while you draw it, it should remain straight. Step 16, add a dot at the bottom left of the 4.5-inch mark right here. Connect it to the vanishing point. Those are the 3 lines of your barbed wire fence. And take another happy line and put it towards the vanishing point. We can dress up these lines in a minute. It's 1 at 8 and 1 at 8.5. This is the lines of your power lines. You're now going to start drawing the railroad tracks, but before that we might want to dress all this up. And so you can see I made a mess of it. I'm sure there's some trick I'm missing, and I'm sorry your teacher's not smarter than he is. But we can still kind of dress this up here. We all kind of want them just to be right down in the middle. So you take every one that you can find and try to put it there. And while it doesn't look totally perfect here, you will see that it looks okay from a distance. And you might find you're having to do it elsewhere as well. You could do the same thing over here with these, but I'll spare you that right now. So to do that, on step 18, we need to add a dot around 1/4 inch out of each side of the center lines, then draw lines to that vanishing point. So we're adding some dots to the outside here. Something like that. This is actually how far the planks will go. Something like that. And some lines there. Step 19. It's the fun part where we're making a trapezoid tool. I need to improve on these directions probably before I release them. And so I'm going to basically say, watch the video. We're done? All right, so it looks rather daunting. Don't let it be. What we're trying to do is to put some planks on this. And you notice I'm moving over here to step 24. There's a line I'm drawing on that other shape, and we're going to talk about that now. Okay, this is again step 19. The trapezoid tool is this guy right here, second row, fifth item. Let's say trapezoid. Here's how it works. You draw it out, and you want to put the left bottom handle here. And it's all about this little gold diamond. You want to move it till it's even with that outside line like that. Then take the middle handle to the right and pull it until the handles line up right there. Now, they are thicker as they're closer to you, but this one's just a little too thick. I'm going to go with something like that. Okay? Now, before you go any further, I want to add a line here, 4 pixels thick, and then group these two objects. That way you'll have an illusion that it's kind of, it gives it some depth here. So I'm going to take a line tool, and it won't hurt to zoom in a bit. I want to draw a straight line from here to here. When I let up, there's that line. Make it 4 pixels thick. If you want to make it thicker, you can. But what that does, it gives you a little bit more of a feeling of this is a thick board. And if you want to change the color of this would be a good time to do that. Otherwise, later in your drawing, you would have to ungroup these two things, because we're going to group them in a moment and make a bunch more. You would have to ungroup each one and change each one. So you can't change a grouped object. So again, if you want to do something with that fill color on this board, this would be the time to do that. So I guess I'll be semi-creative here. They get kind of dark over time, so I guess I'll go with something like that. What's that look like? Pretty good. I might even, go thicker with this. Let's see, maybe 8. That doesn't look too bad. I like that. So you want to group these two things so you can copy and paste them as one. So you click here, hold down, well, here is a better idea. Click off of this, click on the line first, doink. Now hold down the shift key and select the trapezoid as well. Now both objects are selected. You can now group them. Now it's going to behave as one object. Click on it, copy paste, and you can now work your way to make the other ones. And so you can look at the drawing and see how that works. They're going to get thinner as they get further away from us. Something like that. It doesn't need to be perfect, believe you me. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think I'm going to have that many, but you can certainly give it a go. So we'll pick up the video here in just a few minutes when I have more planks in. See, here I only have 6 boards. It's no big deal. It looks fine. So now on step 20, we want you to send the boards to the back so we can kind of mess with these lines a bit. So what you need to do is select all the boards. And you do that by holding down the shift key and selecting each one. Start from the bottom and work your way up. And we want to send that to the back. And so that's arrange, order, send to back. Now you should see these lines on top, which is what you're seeing here. Step 21, remove the outer lines of the track and then move those points to the, you can't see, to the same distance from its partner, but now on the inside like this. Okay, so 21, you want to basically just get rid of this line, the outside lines, because we've done our boards, that's what those were for. And you want to take the dots and just move them on the inside. And we're now going to take the polyline tool to draw the actual rails. All right. So now, and it looks like you don't need this board, or this guy either. So we should get rid of that. Get rid of that. And now you're going to use the polyline tool. This is step 23, and draw a pair of rails to the vanishing point. Here's how you do that. The polyline tool, There's this guy right here. And if you start in the center and come to this dot, let up and click on this dot, let up and come back to where you started, there's your rail. Okay, so do that twice. You gotta do it over here as well. So again, polyline, center, click and let up. Okay, those are your railroad tracks. And again, if you want to do something with those in terms of fill, you certainly can. I'll just click on this one, say copy that format. Yeah. For the fence, we're adding straight lines now. Let me fix a couple of things real quick. Whoops, wrong thing. And so I've seen people draw lines just to keep these even, which isn't a terrible idea, meaning this. I could take the time to, this is not in the directions, to draw one more line about here, and another one about here. And what I can do is use those for the fence posts to know how high to go. So in the beginning, I want to do something like this. You draw a straight line down, looks like 4 pixels. And of course you can copy paste this, but what you're trying to do is get something like that going. They will get closer together as they get further from your eye. And it takes a while to kind of get going with that, but you get the idea. And so when you have those done, you can just remove those top and bottom lines that you put in, and now you have something that looks like a barbed wire fence. Oh well, erase the wrong thing. The next step is the power lines. You're going to draw a straight line near the 3rd or 4th board. Let's see how that turns out over here. So you take a line from here and draw it straight down. Not all the way. You don't want to go here, but you want to go to about there, I think. So I don't know about that 3rd or 4th board stuff, but that'll work just fine for our drawing. And it looks like a line from the bottom of this to the vanishing point as well. That'll help us make the poles. So now we're doing kind of like we did on the fence post here. We're doing telephone poles. These are thicker. You might find you make them a little thinner as they go away from you. Now put crossbars, horizontal lines. This holds the power lines. Mess with them. It does not need to be perfect, that's for darn sure. So something like that. You don't need this anymore. Add some background on the horizon. The deadly mistress said she hates those triangular mountains, I know. Maybe you could improve upon that. There I added another large pole in the front. You don't have to do that necessarily, but you certainly can. Try to flesh out the rest of the drawing. So these are just triangles, of course. There's a blue background. You could do grass if you wanted to, or anything that you'd like. Thanks for sticking it through. It's a long assignment.